the nexus between climate, health, and equity?
Climate change is causing a public health crisis. It is a pandemic of extraordinary proportions, actually. India has the highest rates of suicides today. To design strategies to mitigate the problems, to address the problems. And this is where the whole issue of education comes in. Then there's the issue of poverty. That creates huge inequalities.
Hello and welcome back to Green Generation. I am Shruti Sitaraman, a aspiring entrepreneur and a digital content creator who works on creating content that is based on sustainability. And today we have here Dr. Saroj Pachauri, who is a director and climate health mentor. As a public health physician, Dr. Pachauri has been extensively engaged with research on family planning, maternal and child health, sexual and reproductive health and rights, HIV and AIDS and poverty, and gender and youth. In 2011, she was awarded the prestigious title of the Distinguished Scholar, an honor rarely bestowed. She has published 12 books and counting and contributed to many more. She has over 100 publications in peer-reviewed journals and several articles in print media. It's such an honor to have you here. What is the nexus between climate, health, and equity?
Well, climate change is something we're talking about quite a bit now. Not enough has been done, much more needs to be done, but it is a subject on the national agenda on most minds. What is less understood, or rarely in fact understood, or only recently even begun to be recognized, is the linkages between health and climate change. And the reality is that climate change is causing a public health crisis. It's a serious crisis of huge dimensions, which I don't think many people actually appreciate even now. It causes physical health problems, it causes mental health problems, it causes social health problems. And I'll say a word about the fact that they are direct and indirect, and mental health in particular, which is a taboo subject, is not even spoken about. And it is a pandemic of extraordinary proportions, actually. And you're probably aware that suicide rates are on the increase globally. India has the highest rates of suicides today. So this is an unspoken, absolutely quiet problem, which one doesn't even talk about. Physical health, yes. We have problems with respiratory infections, respiratory diseases, cardiovascular diseases, cancers. All of these issues are being seriously aggravated by the whole problem of climate change. The problem here really is, in my opinion, that we don't know anything, or we don't know enough. So what is critical is to do research to understand the problem, and then to figure out what to do about it, to design strategies to mitigate the problems, to address the problems. And this is where the whole issue of education comes in. And the School of Sustainable Development is the answer to this. This is the citadel where education will be provided and research will be undertaken, serious research, so that we can begin to unfathom the linkages between health and climate change and what can be done to prevent the issues that are arising, serious issues that are arising from it. Now, just to sort of give you a little example here, I come from the field of public health, and you said how I've been doing research on those issues. But when climate change came into my life, into my consciousness, I realized that there was a dire need to have the research there so that people can begin to recognize the issues and to understand the issues and figure out how to mitigate those problems. So I'm working on this very seriously. I've been doing research in this area, and I'm publishing a series of books on health and climate change. They are strictly on health and climate change. Three are being actually published, and one is going to be published in 2 months' time, and maybe there'll be more. These are edited volumes. And what I've done is I've tried to find the best minds, the scholars who are around the world in the developed and developing countries who can contribute to the particular areas of their expertise. So you see, the dimensions are so enormous that you need many, many pieces of research, and you need the best minds to show you the results of that research so that you can begin to address those issues seriously.
Okay, and I'm going to ask you one more question. Can you tell us a little bit about the correlation between equity and climate impact?
Well, there's clearly a correlation between climate and health and equitable issues. You know, public health is inequitable. People are inequitable in many, many different ways. There's clearly an issue of gender inequity that's pervasive around the globe in the developed world and in the developing world. Then there's the issue of poverty that creates huge inequalities and impacts every aspect of our lives, including health. So these are really serious problems, and I think when we design interventions, we have to keep that in mind. It's not a one-size-fits-all. Poor women, gender equity, poor children, poor refugees, these are vulnerable groups. Older people, a whole range of inequity exists around this globe, and we must address that in an equitable fashion, if I may say so.
Okay. Thank you so much for your insights. And here, I guess the key words are, awareness, education, how we should be. One size doesn't fit all. Do your research so that you can better take care of the climate, health, understand what's happening. And as I've mentioned, Dr. Saroj has already published books. She also just mentioned that she's bringing out 2 more publications. So go ahead, read them, be aware, know better, and do better. Thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned for the next episode.